Hello there and welcome back to Culture Bits. In the video before the last, we explored the origin of the new Angry Sun design in Mario Maker 2 and how this design in particular has its roots in depictions of the sun and gods in pre-Columbian cultures in South and Mesoamerica. And to my surprise, that video really took off, and it's now the most viewed video on my channel. I also received a lot of questions about the new Super Mario Bros. Moon and on what it's based, so last week I attempted to take apart its design as much as I could. However, before we talk about the moon, I want to add on a little more to my analysis of the Angry Sun. While I still believe that the Angry Sun in Mario Maker is based on the depictions of the Incan god Inti and the Aztec Tonatiuh, due to the quizzical expression it has, there are other possible inspirations that have possibly influenced certain aspects of its design. A design born out of syncretism. Someone in the comments mentioned that the new Angry Sun looks a lot like another sun in the Paper Mario series, a localized sun that only serves one specific area, and is different to the actual sun. And well, they certainly are similar, I can't deny that, but this design must have come from somewhere and been inspired by something, no? Examining the sun a second time, it's likely that the corona was inspired by the god Surya. Surya is a Hindu god which connotes the solar deity in Hinduism. He is the god of light as well as the day. His name in Sanskrit is the word for sun. Normally, Surya is often depicted riding a chariot harnessed by horses, often 7 in number, which represent the 7 colors of visible light and the 7 days in a week. What we are interested in though is how Surya is represented in sun form. And look! His corona is almost identical to the Angry Sun's, though Surya doesn't sport the same happy-to-be-alive expression that our not-so-angry sun has. Oh, and fun fact, Surya's sunray corona is based on lotus flower petals, so I can understand why people think this one looks like a flower. Surya has also been included in Buddhist and Jain literature and art, and his inclusion in Buddhist literature and iconography is how he came to Japan. The Vedas, the 4 oldest scriptures in Hinduism, assert Surya to be the creator of the material universe, and that he is one of the several trinities which are presented as an equivalent icon and aspect of the Hindu metaphysical concept called the Brahman. The highest universal principle, the ultimate reality in the universe. It is the material, efficient, formal, and final cause of all that exists. It is the pervasive, genderless, infinite, eternal truth and bliss which does not change, yet is the cause of all changes. The single binding unity behind diversity in all that exists in the universe. The Mahabharata epic opens its chapter on Surya by reverentially calling him as the eye of the universe, soul of all existence, origin of all life, and symbolism for freedom and spiritual emancipation. So, as you can see, he's a pretty big deal. Anyways, I'm not going to try and explain Brahman and the rest of that any further here because we can't mull over philosophy and the manifolds of existence for the entire video. Let's move on to the next topic. The moon. Nintendo, why did you change the design of the moon? In all of the other styles, we have the happy moon, which smiles, but in this one, a straight face while it gives me the death stare. This design is difficult to unpack. There aren't any clear-cut origins like the sun has with Inti, Tonatiuh, and Surya. Well, I suppose we'll start with a little bit of the history behind the Crescent Moon and we'll go from there. There is record of the crescent being used since the time of ancient Egypt around the 2nd millennium BC, and not long after, in ancient China, the image appeared in the oracle bone script, which eventually became the symbol for moon in Chinese, Japanese, and Korean before the introduction of Hangul. In Byzantium, the symbol was associated with its guardian goddess Artemis and her Roman equivalent Diana, and was used as a representation of the goddesses of the moon in the Greco-Roman era. Later on, the crescent was adopted as a heraldic charge in Europe, and when paired with a star was used by Islamic kingdoms starting in around the 13th century. But it's important to note here that the star and crescent symbol is not an Islamic one. Well, kind of is now, but it wasn't to begin with. And nowadays, thanks to its history, the crescent moon is what most people think of when you say moon. So, what is the Death Stare moon based on? Well, it seems that unlike the disappointed sun, this moon just has its origins in the typical crescent-style depictions of the moon, and nothing special. There aren't any connections to Mesoamerican or South American cultures this time. But due to the fact that the sun's corona is derived from Surya, there are some possible connections to the opposite of Surya, Chandra. Chandra is a lunar deity within Hinduism. His name means moon in Sanskrit and Hindi. One legend in particular about Chandra explains the waxing and waning phases of the moon, including a dark crater on the moon, visible from Earth. Ganesha was returning home riding atop a shrew late on a full moon night after a huge feast given by Kubera, the Lord of Wealth. On the journey back, a snake crossed their path, and frightened by it, his mount ran away, making Ganesha fall off in the process. An overstuffed Ganesha fell to the ground on his stomach, vomiting out all of the food he had eaten. On observing this, Chandra laughed at him. Ganesha lost his temper and broke off one of his tusks and flung it straight at the moon, hurting him, and cursed him so that he would never be whole again. Surya and Chandra are often represented together, like this. This depiction also served as an inspiration for the sun's designs within The Legend of Zelda. While the suns in Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask seem to be closer in resemblance to Tonatiuh and Inti like the Mario Maker sun, this one from Wind Waker was inspired by the combined representation of Surya and Chandra. Half sun, half moon, this design of Surya and Chandra also has links to the Taijutsu, representing the balance of day and night, the masculine and feminine, light and dark. I'd love to go into this symbol more, but I'll save that for another video. And the Mario Maker moon? Well, unfortunately, even after looking at these different gods, there aren't really any significant links apart from the basic Crescent Moon ones. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and in the process, learned something new about Indian culture and Buddhism. But before you leave, I have a question for you. Do you think Nintendo should change the design of the sun, the moon, or both? Click the I in the top right to vote in the poll. Leave a like and tell me your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more Culture Bits videos. But for now, good night.